I want to turn our attentions to the National League.
Oh, boy.
This is basically like a near-death experience here for the Phillies and Cubs, right? They are teetering on the edge of life and death in this 2025 season. Let's start with the city of brotherly love. The first game to end last night was Dodgers-Phillies. They are now heading back to Los Angeles. The Phillies are down 2-0, losing both games at home, Nika.
Awful. They laid an egg. The Dodgers were giving their games away, and they couldn't capitalize on it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like both games presented big missed opportunities for the Phillies. And, whenever that happens, it's not boding well for your chances of making it out of the postseason. You're going to be talking about these missed opportunities, throughout the whole offseason.
Yeah, those are what ifs.
They are. I mean, you got your back up against the wall. The Dodgers starting pitching is been immaculate so far in the postseason, both in the wild card round against the Reds and now here against the Phillies. And you're getting a reconfigured Blake Snell almost to me. Someone that is no longer aiming the ball magically since he came back in August or whenever it was. But he did not start off this way. We saw him brutally in April pitching like the same 30 pitch innings, like laboring intensive out there. It's gone. Yeah, well, he's like become new again, and he's finally listened to the podcast maybe. The sports show.
Or he just leveled up.
We've been so critical of Blake Snell dating back years when he was a Padre, and just how he would, quote unquote, accept walks as a part of his game and other things. He did walk some hitters on his way out of the game last night, and it got intense for a hot minute, but the Dodgers got out of it, and then they scored. Go on to win. Roki Sasaki, by the way, 2 for 2 in saves now in his lifetime.
One inning.
And they both happened in this series in Philadelphia.
I don't know what's wrong with the Phillies. They forgot about October and forgot to strengthen their bullpen.
Yeah, Red October is absent this year,
it's awful.
Unfortunately. And, it does feel like deja vu a little bit with the Phillies because we've seen this from them before.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate. Only one World Series appearance, I believe, with this like kind of core group together. And that came in 2022 when they beat the Padres in the NLCS, who did not have Tatis. They had Juan Soto, but they didn't have Tatis. That was the missed opportunity again for the Phillies. They made it all the way and didn't close. That was the Astros that took it from them that year.
It's not a good sign for the Phillies right now.
Yeah, it's not, because they're, they keep getting here and they keep having the same thing happen. The other teams in your division are not going to stand pat. Even the Marlins and the Nationals are going to be tougher in the future. We've already seen that at the end of this season, how much more of a tougher out that they became.
I think the best thing for the Phillies for the next season is to disband this group of guys. Seriously.
Well,
break the band apart.
Let's get there first. We got game 3 tomorrow. Yamamoto on the mound in LA against Aaron Nola for the Phillies. How are we feeling, Nika? Do you think the Phillies even have a chance of winning a game in this series?
They better pack light.
Pack light? Yeah, I would pack light as well. I mean, maybe even book a connecting flight out of LA to your vacation destination, because you're going home, Philadelphia. I'm sorry.
Not a single chance.
You're not going to win a game this year, and you're going to be left speculating again in the offseason. The bullpen is just too leaky.
That's
I
non-existent.
mean, bad choices at the trading deadline. It's funny because, they went out and got Duran from the Twins, and everyone thought like that he was the top reliever on the market, and yet we saw teams like the Mets and the Padres double down and have like 4 or 5 high leverage relievers going down the stretch. And it didn't even work out for the Mets, let alone it's not working out for the Phillies now. And Duran's been struggling. In September, we saw him kind of struggling. And and then they lost Ozempic Man because he got suspended, and he got, even though he came back and pitched this year down the stretch, they can't use him in the playoffs. That's part of the punishment, just like Profar.
That's a crazy rule, but
it is crazy. It's a little bit cruel, I guess.
It is.
Here, we can have you back, but
you can't pitch.
Once
in
you
the
make it to the
postseason.
postseason, you're gone again. That's a weird one. I think the Phillies are just done.
Phillies are cooked.
But
I
it's
don't
too
see-
early to speculate. But
Really?
I don't know where they go from here in the postseason. Because I'm not speculating that they're gonna win or lose. I'm pretty much saying they're lost. Now what for them? Because they're just an older roster. Their biggest slugger, Kyle Schwarber, is a free agent and aging. We don't know what he wants to get on the open market right now. So there's a lot of questions going into this offseason. And then, again, I think they'll be faced with, we got all the way here. Now what? They did lose their ace. I don't think that should go unnoticed. Zach Wheeler has a serious kind of blood clot, right, in his shoulder.
something like this.
And he may never pitch again.
I know. So you need to go younger. I'm sorry. You have to bring some young blood to your organization.
Yeah.
Bring out the prospects. This isn't working. You try this core guys for 3 years now?
Well, we said 2022. That's
Or
4.
4 years.
And I don't know I don't remember how much they made it before then. 2021, 2020 was COVID, obviously.
True, but
I don't really count a lot of that.
Yeah,
even
it's
though
short
they
season.
do. So whatever. They got Sanchez and he pitched great. I mean,
had a great
their
game.
starting pitchers have done well so far against the Dodgers. It's just been the bullpen that has let them down. But I mean, I think that's an oversight of the general manager and not getting enough at the deadline. Again,
he forgot.
well, I don't give them much of a chance against Yamamoto tomorrow in LA. I really don't.
Yeah.
So I think they
like-
get swept. I think the Phillies go home and have lots of questions and soul searching to do if they ever want to get Bryce Harper a ring, because it ain't going to be this year. Sorry, Bryce. All right, let's go to Wrigley Field. The Cubs and Brewers will be resuming their series of near-death experience on Wednesday at, I think the game is slated right now for 2 in the afternoon, our time. That would be 4 o'clock Chicago time, 5 o'clock Eastern.
No shadows. Or not big shadows.
Some shadows to start with, probably not at the end.
Okay.
The Tigers and Mariners, as we mentioned, will be going at noon Pacific time tomorrow. So the games are staggered by 2 hours starts tomorrow. And that's if we get them all. There could be 4, but there might only be 3. And that will be the last time that there will be at least 3. And after that, it gets down to 2s and 1s. So
Dwindling down.
we are dwindling down to the end of the baseball season, and we are almost to one of our favorite parts of the season, the off season, which is when we get to talk about all the juicy rumors going around.
Rumors, prospects.
Rumors, prospects, moves, schemers. All right. Well,
Conspiracies.
the Cubs tomorrow are going with Jamison Tyon on the mound, and the Brewers are countering with Quinn Priester, who was 13-3 this year for the Brew Crew, and they are hoping he spins some of that magic brew, as they're calling it, in Milwaukee right now. Is that a Halloween thing, you think?
Maybe.
October magic brew? I mean,
I like it.
credit for tapping into the witchcraft in the month of October if you're a Milwaukee fan. They also have that haunted hotel up there. I wonder if the Cubs are staying there and
a
being
theme.
cursed right now.
No, they're not cursed. They just didn't do enough in the
But
post.
you never know what spirits Pat Murphy's talking to these days. He's pulling pancakes out of his pocket. You know, he's got the syrup gods.
Are we talking spirits to drink or spirits like boohoo?
I don't know. There's a lot of spirits in Milwaukee, I think.
Oh, okay.
They got, it's an old Native American town. I learned that from Alice Cooper in Wayne's World. He called it Milwaukee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Things you learn, from the movies. Now you can't even learn that.
I know. They would probably be like, it's not called that. That's disrespectful.
Somebody's feelings.
Yes,
will
the
get hurt.
authentic pronunciation is too disrespectful because someone got hurt feelings. All right. Well, I don't think it matters who the hell's pitching in this game, Nika. The Brewers are just mashing baseballs
Yes.
right now, and they're making the Cubs hurt.
Yeah, it wasn't
It's
pretty.
not as bad as the Blue Jays and Yankees, but it's pretty close to that bludgeoning. The Brewers are outscoring the Cubs 16-6 in 2 games in this series, and I would say some of those runs for the Cubs came in garbage time. Even the Brewers were up 9-1 in Game 1. Not quite as big of a lead yesterday. Seiya Suzuki goes bonsai in the top of the first, but the Brewers answer with Andrew Vaughn,
from the
the
White
White
Sox.
Sox turned Brewer, who is probably one of the best stories in baseball
Yeah.
this year, if you're being honest, because of his unknown. Nobody had Andrew Vaughn being a playoff contributor on the Milwaukee Brewers this year. Even when he got traded, it was like they're taking a flyer on a guy who was once a top prospect in baseball, who comes in and basically turns into like I don't even know who to compare him
He
to.
said, hold my beer. I show you.
It's one of the more miraculous turnarounds, I think,
Yeah.
in Major League history when you come to trades like that. But not the first we've seen from the White Sox.
How many times we say change of scenery helps? A lot. And we see a lot of these guys, even Sheets.
Well, Gavin Sheets comes to mind.
Exactly.
You know, he was the one that probably gave the Brewers this idea, if you think about it, because, you know, he came in and was basically mashing his career numbers. I think he had more home runs by the end of May than he had like in the previous season
Wow.
with the White Sox. And yeah, he was also just making better contact. I don't think you can argue that watching him play from White Sox to
So I'm not surprised
Padres.
about Andrew Vaughn.
Yeah, they unlocked him,
Yeah,
you know.
they unlocked something.
And now they have him on their team in the playoffs, and they are taking it to the Cubs. Your pick also, William Contreras, continuing. He was on base a lot in game one. He hit a big 3-run homer yesterday. Bam.
Let's go
I don't
Willie.
like I said, I don't think it matters who's pitching for the Brewers. Do the Cubs win a game in this series? Maybe.
Maybe.
I wanted them to win, obviously. I think
know,
it's a long shot.
Cubs accomplished what they set out to do. They wanted to get to the postseason. They
Yeah.
got to the postseason.
We
That was their
we heard the sales pitch on the radio this
Yep.
morning coming out finally. You know, we've been saying it for weeks. That's why I was devastated a little bit that the Padres didn't beat the Cubs, because the Padres, we argued beforehand, had more to play for.
Mm-hmm.
The Cubs, we argued, had achieved their goal of making the postseason. That was all that was important to them. And the way they played against the Brewers, it feels like it.
Yeah.
And getting outmanaged, you know. You put Eamon Naga out there to start the game. Last week, you did the opposite. You
against the lefties.
against the Padres, you put Eamon Naga in the second inning to avoid having him face Tatis and Machado in the first inning. What do you do here? You do the opposite. You just throw him right out there again. No Kittredge to start the game, and he gets the 3-run bomb hitting off of him. Instead of it being 3-0 Cubs after one inning, it's 3-3, and you got yourself a tie ball game again. It's 0-0 again, and so
Yeah.
really questionable choices by the Cubs front office and Craig Counsell. I don't even know who to blame anymore. It doesn't sound like anyone knows who to blame. It doesn't sound like anyone knows if Craig Counsell is making these decisions on his own or if it's like by committee, like Craig Counsell and Jed Hoyer and stooges.
What
Like,
is it, democracy?
it feels like it. It feels like they all get in a room now and they're like, well, how are we feeling? Who do you think should start? Who do you think should start? Who do you think should start? Okay, we've got some positives and negatives over here. Oh, then the positives have it. And they go with it that way instead of like letting the manager actually do the job of managing the team. And I think
That's awful.
unfortunately more and more teams are going in this direction.
Now we see the results.
I'm not saying
Unbalanced
I'm not
games.
saying that the front office shouldn't have a say in things, but not all the time.
Well,
You know,
the front office is
it
not.
shouldn't just change because it's the postseason and be like, well, we got to put every decision under the microscope now. That's
No.
not what got you to the postseason in the first place.
That's like changing your swing angle when you
Kind
are,
of, right?
you know, in the middle of a season or in the postseason because this is not how you got there.
Is there any way the Cubs can come back and win this series, Nika?
No. They have a 10% chance again.
Nika's sticking with 10%. I don't give the Cubs. I give them 0 in this. I'm sorry to say it. The pressure of playing in an elimination game, and the Brewers they know they have 3 cracks at it, plus a trip back to Milwaukee if they need it. I don't know. I don't give them.
Oh, I don't give the Cubs.
The Brewers are definitely going to be playing looser tomorrow, and if they get up early on the Cubs, if there's like wind blowing out or something crazy at Wrigley Field, and they just launch a couple nukes in the first, it's over.
Yeah. It is
Um,
over.
So we'll wait and see what happens. If they are to come back, they will have to do it with the bats. They are gonna have to out hit this Brewers team because the Brewers came to punch with their bats in this postseason, especially against the Cubs and Counsell. I will be curious to see if they take this momentum forward. I won't be surprised if they do, but I definitely think playing against the Cubs and Counsell brings out the best of the Brewers. That's going to be a problem for the Cubs
It's a
in the
rivalry.
next few years with Counsell as manager, because I don't think some of these Brewers are going to be gone by then. Like,
I
Well,
don't think Pat
Churio's
Murphy-
not going to be
no,
gone.
and Pat Murphy's not going anywhere.
Exactly. So,
So-
it's good for baseball, the rivalry. Not so great for the
Absolutely.
Cubs right now. And that's kind of where I'm at. I don't think they win a game. I think the Wrigley faithful go home sad tomorrow. It's better to prepare for disappointment,
Yes.
right?
The bar is set so low.
Then we can go back to criticizing the general manager like we should be for not shoring up this team's weaknesses at the trading deadline. Just like we should be saying it about the Phillies. You know, it's the same situation almost here.
And then you look at the Dodgers, and which team, Phillies, Cubs,
Oh.
or the Brewers, have the better chance of beating the Dodgers? Because
Exactly. And this brings up a really interesting point. It does look like we are heading big time for a Dodgers Brewers NLCS.
Yes.
And the Dodgers are not going to have home field.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's interesting about that is they go from Philly back to LA because they don't have home field against the Phillies. And then now they have to maybe possibly potentially most likely go back cross country to either Philly if there's a game 5, which is unlikely, but at least to Milwaukee. So they're bouncing around like a ping pong ball right now. I'll say that about the Dodgers.
that might be
They went from Seattle at the end of the season to LA. They had to play Tuesday, so Sunday to Tuesday. And then they go from LA to Philly, then from Philly back to LA, and now from LA to probably Milwaukee.
and that will play a role in the team psychology.
I don't know. They seem so locked in right
No,
now.
no, no.
The
I
Dodgers.
mean, like,
they're
this is
they're
an
just
older
rolling
team,
with
too.
it. Yeah, they're taking a veteran approach with it. Like Freddie Freeman scooping that ball yesterday on the
Like a pro.
The tying run was literally on third. It scores if he doesn't scoop that ball.
He's a pro.
He's a consummate professional. But man, Dodgers Brewers that looks like an intense matchup. The
like
way
it.
the Brewers are playing, I feel like they're possibly the only team that could take it to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And I don't
Brewers,
even know if I'm
Dodgers.
confident in that yet. Boy, oh boy. Well, that gets us caught up on the divisional round games, heading into the third game of every series starting soon. This was fun. I enjoyed talking baseball with you this morning. And we'll be back here again probably on Friday. At least some of the American League Championship or the NL Championship will be set up by then.
Oh, yeah.